following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
My name is Jasmine, and I am a recovering drug addict.
My name is Richie Farrell, a.k.a. the Old White Junkie.
And we are your hosts for Exit Team Nashua.
Our mission is to bring recovery into the living room.
Last year, over 72,000 Americans died of an accidental overdose.
That's almost 200 Americans every single day.
We will bring you guests with real-life experiences with addiction and recovery. Welcome to Exit Team Nashua.
Hi, welcome to Exit Team Nashua. My name is Jasmine, and I am your host. As you can see, this is not our normal setup. We are taking all the precautions during these times right now to remain safe and for our guests to be safe, but we definitely still want to deliver a message of hope. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for getting on this meeting here with us. Although it's not live and it's not in the studio, we still got some rocking people here. We're going to have a rocking story. It's going to be live because it's going to be like alive because of the energy that we're going to bring to it. And so I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful co-host, Jessie. Hi, Jessie.
Hey, Jazz. Good to see you.
How are you? How are you?
Doing good. Doing good.
How are you holding up?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in, getting a little tired of this, but it's been good for me to do some like soul searching, self-reflecting, kind of like checking me on my program, really no like outside distractions to try to get me out of my head, So it's a growth period. Hopefully I'll come out stronger on the other side.
Always trust the universe. Speaking of the universe, I saw you out in the woods yesterday.
Yeah. We have like lots of land behind the house, so I've been getting my son out there, trying to climb a tree and find something. And we actually found, it almost looks like it's like an old like moonshine operation behind our house. Yeah, it's pretty cool. There's like all these bottles and like these containers. I don't know. It was pretty neat, but so we did some exploring, so it's been fun.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. What have you been doing, Jazz?
I've been working, I've been staying hustling and grinding. COVID has slowed me down a little bit, whereas I'm not out in the public connecting with people as much, but I'm still hitting that grind pretty hard. I'm working 7 days a week. It's what I love to do. It's what I do. So although life has changed for me, it has not changed dramatically for me. I'm still Jazz doing what she does and what she's good at, and that's getting her grind on. So I'm really grateful for that too, because I've noticed, and obviously for good reasons, like a lot of people, we're going through scary times and people don't know what's going to happen and financial insecurities. And I'm fortunate enough that my work has been able to sustain work for me throughout all of this. So I get to go to work every day, right? I get to show up every day. And what's even better is I'm not focused on what's going on out there in the world because I'm so into the zone at work and what I need to do to help others. So I've really been fortunate and blessed through all of this.
That's awesome.
I have been connecting with nature more though as well. I've been trying to go hiking on my days off. Oh girl, and I started working out. PP.
Yeah, girl.
Hey. I know, dude.
Come on, man.
You're killing it. I was in the yoga studio doing yoga, Pilates all the time. And I have the time now, but I really struggle with being in my room and I go into the vinyasa or the downward dog, and then I'm just gonna lay here, I just don't get back up, and it's harder for me to stay in that routine.
I'm really looking forward to yoga studios opening again.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a guest tonight on the show. And so some of you may recognize the name Matty O'Malley. I think it's actually Matty O, Matthew O'Malley, whatever you guys want to call him. And so he's been on the show in the past, so he is a return guest. But he is someone that definitely deserves multiple presences on this show because of what he does. And so what it is that he does that I admire and look up to is like he stays out there in the community, in the trenches, and just like always extending his hand to the less fortunate, to the people that don't have resources. Like whenever someone reaches out to me from the state of Mass and they're like, I'm homeless, I don't have money, I don't know what to do, I don't know how I'm going to get help. I'm like, I'll do the best I can to help you. And what that looks like is I'm going to connect you to this person. And he sees it all the way through. And like, I believe in karma, and I believe in like the people that like do good and do the next right thing. Like the universe is going to serve them tenfold. We just lost him. Okay. Hey. The universe is going to serve you tenfold. So I believe that Maddie probably has a lot of really good things coming his way. And so it's an honor for me to introduce tonight's guest. Hey, Maddie.
Hey, what's up, Jazzy? What's up, Jesse? Thank you for having me on the show. It's always a privilege and an honor to be a part of the solution, a part of something that provides hope. And, thank you for asking me to participate in my own personal recovery at the same time. It's always a privilege to participate in that. And I'm not all that. I'm just, I just try to do what somebody else has done for me. It's pretty simple, but thank you for all the kind words, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, don't let them go to your head.
Right, because they will quick.
I reached out the other night trying to find help for someone in Mass, and Maddie was like, yep, okay, bed and detox, like, give me his information. And I'm like, well, he actually doesn't want to go anymore. Like, Maddie responded before, like, because of course my instinct is like, oh, you're using, okay, hang on, let me fix this and save you.
Right.
Like, no. Like, he was just kind of wanted to tell me that he had relapsed. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's get you to treatment. And he's just not there yet. So, but it was amazing. I'd never seen somebody respond so quickly. What do you do for work, Maddie, that you were able to do that?
I wear a couple different hats. I'm a certified recovery coach, but that's not what I'm employed at right now. I help people in those situations out of the kindness of my heart, simply because it's the right thing to do. Being a recovering addict myself, I have a hard time turning a cold shoulder to somebody that needs help. That's why I respond as quickly as I do, because, I remember when I was active, and if I had some hang time, I was just out of there. You know what I mean? So time is at the essence when you're dealing with somebody trying to get into treatment. But right now, I actually work for Simple Path Recovery, the national director of business development. It's actually the facility I got clean in a little over 3 years ago. So, it's pretty cool to be working for the facility that kind of got me grounded, helped get me well, and, help people, get the same kind of intimate, caring, loving, passionate, compassion and treatment that I received. So that's what I do for work right now.
Awesome.
What else do you do?
What else do I do?
So
I mean,
a couple different hats, so not your swag hat either.
No. I mean, I pretty much, Jazz, just like yourself, man. Like, I love raising awareness. I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of nonprofit work. Like I said, I went through the recovery coaching. Like anything that pretty much smashes the stigma, helps somebody find freedom. Like you said, I like to be in the trenches. I like to always be busy. I like to always be given, back, because ultimately, that's what keeps me clean today as well. So I pretty much, if it has to do with recovery, I'm pretty much all in there. So
that is greatness. To serve is true greatness, and not a lot of people in life get to experience that. So you have a pretty powerful story, and that's probably why you are so good at being a public speaker, because like it's captivating and it draws attention, because you're someone statistically speaking that would have never made it out. So like, want to qualify for us real quick?
Yeah, sure, without a doubt. My story, it has a lot to do with, like I had a mother that struggled with addiction and mental illness. And growing up, there was just a lot of things going on in my household that I just particularly did not understand. I'm very scared of things that I don't understand. They make me fearful. They make me uncomfortable. They make me irritable. And like growing up, you know, like I was always in a constant state of mind of fear. I was always in a constant state of mind of like anger. I was always in a constant state of mind of like depression. You know, my dad, you know, worked a regular job. You know, he went to work early, and you know, my dad's the most amazing person in the whole world. I just remember like trying to figure out what was wrong with mom and looking forward to when dad got home. I looked forward all day until like that hug at the end of the night. You know what I mean? I'm an addict that just needed a hug. I needed love. I needed to be embraced. I ended up like, you know, to fast forward, you know, like in between that period of time, my anger and, you know, my issues got the best of me. You know, I found myself in and out of institutions, you know, just absolute insanity across the board, not being able to process, not being able to live, not being able to find like happiness at such a young age. Then at the end of that, I ended up, you know, losing, like I said, I lost my mother to, you know, mental illness and the disease. I like to, you know, stress both because for my mother and for this addict as well, it goes hand in hand. And, you know, by 15 years old, that was when I was 14. By 15 years old, I used to like numb everything. I didn't want to accept the fact that my mother was never going to be with me again. I didn't want to live in society. I didn't want, you know, when that happened, I kind of got a stigma attached to me, you know, the kid that had this happen to him. I used to run away from reality in all aspects of life. And I did it pretty aggressively and I did it pretty obsessively. And I found myself, you know, in jails. I found myself in and out of detoxes. I found myself selling my morals, my ethics, you know, my belief system, everything that was like me through and through. I would literally give up for the next one. And that went on for over a decade, man. It went on for over a decade. I lost everything that was important to me. I burned every bridge that meant something to me. And in the great scheme of things, I never really got to numb the pain of my mother. I never got to mend that wound. I never got to, you know, I never got to fill it. It was just absolutely craziness. It wasn't until I came to recovery. Like, see, you know, like we're not responsible for our disease, but we're responsible for our recovery, right? So it wasn't until I came to recovery and, you know, I actually gave treatment a shot, that, you know, I was able to face these demons, man. I was able to, you know, use everything that I've been through and, you know, kind of turn it into my assets. They're no longer liabilities today. All the pain I've endured, is simply, it just helped moan like my spiritual spine. You know what I mean? And it's been hard. It's been emotional. It's been stressful. And you know, like I would love, you know, I like kicking up, you know, the using stories, but you know, I'm not going to do that. What you need to know is that like I used, I lost, and then I used and I lost, and then I used and I lost, and I used and then I lost, and then I used and I lost some more. And then I came to recovery and I started listening to other people. And I guess you could say the reason why I help people so aggressively, why I'm so aggressively, you know,
You're aggressive.
connected with the community, right? Is every time I help somebody, I feel that connection with my mother, man. You know what I mean? Like I feel that spiritual connection. I feel her presence. Using kind of gave me a meaning, man. And it was to help other people when I was done. I thank God and you guys and everybody else that supported me that I made it here alive. And, you know, that's kind of like what my story looks like without the clips of all, you know, the ridiculous, you know, war trophies and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
So Maddie, so it sounds like there is like a long history of trauma, like growing up in instability, maybe kind of like some neglect, not intentional neglect, but so from like an outsider's perspective, and also from like my own personal life perspective, because I grew up very similar, like we were predisposed to kind of live this life, or so I thought from society.
Right.
So you product of your environment. And so you lived that way for like 10 years in active addiction, but it sounds like you were suffering long before you ever picked up, and that like the drugs were the solution for you because you were so miserable. The drugs were like the only thing that ever took any of that pain away. Like what happened? Like what happened that you decided like, I'm going to endure life as life?
What happened for me, like what was my spiritual awakening per se. Honestly, it was when I put drugs in me, like you said, to numb everything, to ignore everything, and to not feel the pain and not to face the responsibilities. What happened with me is like, I remember one time particularly just putting that in me. I felt alone. I felt broken. I felt my mother. I felt society. I felt insecure. I felt uncomfortable. I felt suicidal, and I felt high. And I'm like, there has to be some other way to deal with this. So it was when the drugs stopped simply working for me.
Did you still have like protective factors in place? Like, did you still have a place to live? Like, did you still have like any kind of comforts, or did you like have to hit like complete rock bottom for you to have that experience?
I had to hit rock bottom. I had no safety net. Mind you, my father is not naive by any means. He has put up with this in his past as well. So he knew that he had to accept me and love me from afar and allow my process to happen. So it was rock bottom for me, emotionally, physically, and, financially, across the board. It had to, I had to run out of all resources, and I had to literally, build from the bottom up. It's the only way it worked for me.
So drugs stopped working. And how did you, because you're from Lynn, Massachusetts?
Right. Yeah, I grew up in Boston.
Okay.
That's another part of my, story is like, I bounced, due to my dad working and, everything like that. I never really had a home as well. If I wasn't with mom, I was with dad. And if I wasn't with dad, I was with my grandparents. If I wasn't with my grandparents, I was with my aunt. I was a little bit of everywhere. I just never felt home anywhere. But yeah, I got clean in Lynn. This is my home now. It's where my recovery network is.
You wound up in treatment in Florida. So like, how does someone who's financially bankrupt, basically it sounds like essentially homeless, has no more support from anyone due to problems of their own making, how does a kid like you in that situation get lucky enough to be afforded a scholarship in Florida?
Well, my father, like I said, I thank God for the man. Closed mouths don't get fed. He opened up his mouth and he asked, a friend for help. That friend led him to another friend, where I got a scholarship to Simple Path through Heroin is Killing My Town.
Okay.
That I do a lot of nonprofit work with today. Yeah, exactly.
You're a success story for them. That's why you do work for them. I get it now. That's amazing. Okay.
That's right. Exactly. So I found myself, someone advocated for me is what happened, because I wasn't ready to do it for myself.
And now you're an advocate.
That's why I believe in it, man. Everything has a meaning behind it for me.
So you
Maddie, have you been totally abstinent since that time, or was there some relapse after that, or what did that look like?
So yeah, ever since I came home from Simple Path, actually there was one slip up when I came home. It was something, I guess I wanted to test the waters, and it was the same result. But after that one time, I think that's pretty common when any addict leaves treatment. They usually want to try their will one more time. Then reality slaps them right in the jaw, like it did for me. And after that, I've been completely abstinent. I just celebrated 3 years in a quarantine. You know,
yeah, congratulations.
It blows my mind. I'm not, I'm just completely through and through abstinence, spiritual, and I'm a 12-step guy as well. So
yeah, that was my next question. So you work a 12-step program of recovery?
I do, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm a guy. I work the 12 steps. For sure, I have a sponsor. I have sponsees. For me, that's what continues to keep me accountable. It keeps me driven. It keeps me grounded, and it keeps me clean through and through.
So what does that look like through this time? I know that I'm a little zoomed out. I'm also 12 step, and I've found myself like going to like my one young people's meeting on Sunday nights, and then I'm sitting
right now. I love that.
And then I'm like sitting in my misery because I'm not going to meetings, and I'm like, what? But I don't. Yeah, how is it like? What's it like for you?
It's I'm a chameleon. I get acclimated pretty quickly in any situation that I'm in. But like for me, it's working for now. I like the intimacy. I like the hug, like I was talking about. I like the, to be embraced by people. So not being able to have that and that human connection is real hard for me. But, also having an open window of like-minded people that, that I could share in front of, and they could say me too. It definitely still continues to keep me clean. I'm thankful for the Zoom, and I'm thank you for everything both fellowships has been doing to keep the doors open and the addicts alive. It's truly beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty cool. And like, it is, I think it's harder to stay engaged in the program, but Zoom, it's pretty, we're so freaking lucky, that it's there and it can keep us connected. And, it's something, and if you want it, you can stay connected. So
what I have found, because we don't have like in-person meetings, and not like my normal like people and friends and like my people that I rely on, they can't all like get on the Zoom meeting. I call everyone so much, and I commute 2 hours a day for work, and like when I'm in my car, like I'm utilizing my Bluetooth, like just connecting with people, even if it's just, hey, how are you? And I've noticed that for me, like through all of this, even though I'm not able to connect with you in person, I would say that my quality of relationship has improved with many people in my life because I'm connecting with them more because I'm not physically with them as much. So
yeah, for sure. I very much the same thing. Like even me and you, Jazz, we've been talking so much more on the phone than ever before. And connection is huge. Call it other people. And, I like to call it, what did the kid call it? He told me play recovery roulette. Just go in your phone book and just, swipe up, and whoever's in recovery that it lands on, call them and, just check in with them. Staying connected through the phone. Also, like, Jesse said it in the beginning, and I appreciate that. Like, the time to myself, I've been able to tap into like some spiritual work. I've been able to tap into like some meditation, and with everything kind of, God works in mysterious ways. The world kind of slowing down. Even me today, like, listen, I started working with a therapist recently. You know what I mean? Like I started doing some things for my mental health because I'm not overly working, and I'll use work and I'll use like all this other stuff, good things, to, neglect myself. And it's when everything slows down, I'm like, oh my God, I got some stuff that I need to work on. So it's like gratitude, spirituality, meditation, like step work, all of it. You need to do it all right now.
Right. Yeah. I've taken a lot of time to connect with nature. I really find like a connection with my God in nature. I find nature so powerful. It's very humbling to like look at a tree and all the life in the tree, or like a bird or just anything. And it's like, my life is no more significance than that living thing. We're just all part of something bigger.
I envy you. I'm in Lynn. If I want to connect with nature, it's going to be the stop sign.
There's some trails near my house. You guys can come by anytime and we can hike. So
Barbecue once this is over.
yes.
Word, yes, for sure.
Jesse, you live next to the ocean, don't you?
I live, well, no, I mean like 15 minutes.
What? Okay, well, it's like hours for me. Like
Okay, so yeah. I'm like kind of in the middle of everything. It's nice. But I was just gonna throw in there that I've been meeting with my LADAC weekly, and I think I had the best session I've ever had with her this week. And it just was crazy to me because, you know, I'm like, this is just a formality to stay connected to her. And like, thank God I had that relationship with her before this started, because I probably would have never been like, I'm going to go Zoom with this person that I don't know, you know.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I also never thought that I would actually like get some real therapy out of it. Like, yeah, you touch base and stuff, but she was like diving into like my psyche and stuff. And it was like the most powerful session that I've had. I've known her for like 2 years, you know? So it was really cool, you know? And I just feel like we've all grown with this, this crisis, and we've had to adapt, you know?
Oh yeah, big time. It's a big blessing. I mean, like, it's tragic. Don't get it wrong. It's tragic. It's horrible. But you know, I've learned things about like perspective. You could sit around and you could, you know, be miserable. Or like I said, you could take some responsibility and, you know, dive into, you know, the deeper, you know, core things that you were just talking about. That's where the freedom is.
You can get creative. I've started an online networking business. Like,
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, you did.
Fucking
yeah.
killing it.
So you can just do whatever. So the show always goes by quickly. Maddie, what would you say to anyone that's watching right now and is struggling?
First off, reach out. Be vulnerable and be honest. If you're struggling, there's plenty of us, you know, that are here and, you know, eager. By asking for help, you're actually helping us.
That's right.
But I would also tell you to, you know, tap into gratitude. Stay close to things that you're grateful for. And try to, you know, look at things in a positive perspective. Because life is only miserable if we choose to make it or look at it that way. There's so much beautiful going on. It's up to you how you want to look at it. And if you need help looking at it in a different perspective, hit us up. We'll help you for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, so if you're watching this and you haven't gone to check out our Facebook page, go check it out. I am a heroin addict. Go ahead and give it a like. And so you can look for Maddie, Maddie O'Malley. If you need anything, send him a message. Look for Jessie on Facebook. You can message her. And if you need anything, message me. Maddie, thank you for joining us. And as always, thank all of you for tuning in with us. Love you. Good night.
Thank the both of you. God bless. Have a great night.
Take care.
Thanks, Maddie. Bye, Jazz.
Bye.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.